What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, we have something really cool here today. Uh, a new version of a really old friend. You're very familiar with the Ontario Knife Company. You're very familiar with the Ontario Rat 1. You may be familiar with the newer S35VN. You're very familiar with the Ontario Rat 2. This one also an S35N. These guys have been around for a long time. When you talk about budget knives, these guys are always in the conversation. For a lot of people, they're at the top of the conversation. Just solid user knives, budget knives. When you talk about a Rat 1, for instance, and you talk about D2, or let's say you talk about AUS 8, you don't really got my attention that much. Probably a great knife, and I'm a knife collector. I want best steel I can get. But then when you start talking about D2, you get my attention a little bit. Pretty good knife for a budget knife. But then you start talking about S35VN. You got quite a bit of my attention because that's a really good steel on a great knife, and I'm starting to think you're out of the budget category at that point because you got what nobody would consider a budget steel. Both of these are offered in S35 yen. And then they come along and I see a little advertisement in the group from a vendor advertising the Rat 1.5. And I look on Ontario's website and don't see anything about it. They don't mention it. There's been no press about it. So I'm thinking maybe it's some type of clone or a fluke. So I ordered one. Ontario Rat 1.5. Been using it. Got tape all over it. In Magnacut. Now when you say Magnacut, you've got my full and undivided attention. That's a really good steel. That's a great steel. On a budget knife. But this is definitely no longer a budget knife when it's got Magnacut on it. This is a player. The knife itself has never been questioned whether these knives are good. They're great. It's just the blade steels have been a little bit inferior to a lot of the stuff we collect, right? But now, with Magnacut, they are really stepping up the game. But here's another thing. A lot of people would say, I don't because I have huge monstrous hands, that the Rat 1 is a little bit big. I could be one of the ones that say that the Rat 1 is a little bit small. So if you had medium-sized hands or even large hands, neither one of these might not be perfect. One's too big, one's too small. So they made the Goldilocks, the 1.5. And this one is a really, really good size. I like the larger one and would probably prefer the larger size, but wouldn't mind at all if this is what I ended up with. So let's do a comparison with the three of them together, because I think everybody who would be tuned into this channel would know the size of the Rat 1 and the Rat 2, because as reviewers, we use these for size comparison a lot, because people are so familiar with them. They're so affordable. I believe I paid $100 for this knife and $110 for one and like $100 for the other. I got this knife for $89. That's a kill. That's a killer deal. Just home run. We'll take a couple of measurements just for chits and giggles. 3 1/4 on the blade. 4 3/8 on the handle scales. Let's check the. I have cut some tape and just a little bit of cardboard with this, but this is Magnacut. It should still pretty much have its original edge. So let's check the sharpness. Let's check the weight first, and then we'll check the sharpness. 3.5, 3.4, not bad. It's not super light. It's a good weight. You're not going to really notice that in your pocket. And get one of our little quickie deals here. $185. $200 is double razor blade sharp, so you're good to go. That's very sharp. That's as sharp as you would normally expect from any type of production knife, high end or otherwise. It feels very sharp. And like I said, I did open some boxes, cut some tape with it and stuff, but this is Magnacut. I doubt it even phased it yet. It probably hadn't even start to roll any type of edge or anything. But so there she is. Let's look at the lockup on it. It appears to be about 30-ish%. Let's look at the centering. Looks right on the money to me. Maybe a hair off. No, it's right in there. I mean, it's right in centered. Centered as you need. I'm impressed. I am impressed. I really like this knife. This knife will definitely be in my rotation for a little while. If I'm at home, I've had this knife for probably a month or so, 3-4 weeks, something like that. If I'm at home, this is the one I grab, or one of the other ones, one of the other rats. These are just my user knives. I really enjoy using them. They got great ergonomics. Easily get 4-finger grip on that knife comfortably. There's a reason why these have been in the conversation for so long. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.